What's going on, everybody? Gunner here. Impromptu video, not prepared or anything, and we're not tying, it's just a discussion. And what I want to talk about is the topic of fly lines being marketed as being 2 lines heavy. What that actually means and what that implies. So this is going to be a bit off the cuff. Hopefully I can throw up some text and find some pictures on the internet to supplement this. But it's a rather confusing topic, and it's something that kind of plagues the streamer industry. And I don't think the marketing approach that's been taken is very helpful to anybody, because most people are confused about it and not educated. So I've never talked to a fly line designer. This is just my observations. Be aware of that. But this is what I have observed in my journey of fly fishing and what that actually means and implies. So there's a standard they created like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 years ago called the AFTM standard. And basically what they did is they just took 30 feet, the first 30 feet of any fly line. They were almost all double tapers at the time, or long belly, weight forward, doesn't matter. And they would say, how heavy is the first 30 feet? That designates what fly rod it should be paired with. Now, those numbers for streamer fishing are essentially useless, but this is kind of where the 2 lines heavy thing comes from. And what they started to do is they manufactured weight forward fly lines, going from double taper where the belly's uniform to essentially only having a forward section that's weighted and then running line. Is they started playing with the different head lengths of that weight forward system. And most kind of all-purpose lines are going to run you like 45 feet. That's a pretty long head, right? 45 feet. Now, as soon as you step outside of technical dry fly stuff and nymph fishing and you move to a still water environment, that could be salt or warm water, it still could be trout fishing, could be salt water, big game stuff, it doesn't really matter. But as soon as you start to get to casting distances that actually kind of matter, aside from like pure accuracy casting, you're going to start to carry the head. So what they realized is the head, I'm using that word intentionally, the head has to be perfectly weighted to perfectly load the rod it's supposed to be paired with. Now, I don't really care what happened in the industry if lines got heavier and rods got faster. It's besides the point. What really matters is they started to develop a system where AFTM is outdated. The first 30 feet, nobody gives a crap about. What people actually care about is the head weight. How heavy is the head of the weight forward fly line, so that when the head is outside the rod tip, how much weight am I using to load the rod to get the perfect, let's say, attributes of bend, pressure, load, and release, right? If I want maximum performance out of my rod, the perfect bend and crisp throw of that fly line, how heavy should that head be? So from now on, screw the first 30 feet, let's just focus on head. All I care about is the head of my fly line and how heavy the head is. So if you just pick a fly line, let's pick a completely standard stock all-purpose line that everybody has probably bought at some point in their life, like Rio's Gold. It's like, I don't know, 46 feet long head, so that's pretty long. And it's like 230-ish grains, 234, 235, I forget, for that 46 feet. So 230 grains for a 6-weight. That's kind of what you're looking at. Now let's take a line that's 2 lines heavy, okay? Still gonna be a 6-weight, like Rio's Outbound Short. This is a super aggressive, super short shooting head. Well, guess how much the head weight is? Like 230-ish grains. They're identical, the head weight's identical. Well, of course the head weight's identical. That's the head weight you need to perfectly load a modern 6-weight for any casting. Like as soon as you're going to carry the head and shoot the head to distance, I want to know how heavy that head is. Now, what has changed is the length. The weight of it's the same. So then why do we mark it as being 2 lines heavy, right? So the weight, the total mass of the head is identical from your super short compact streamer lines and your all-purpose long belly delicate dry fly lines. Do you hear me? They're the same. They're not 2 lines heavy. They're the same. So this is what people actually mean. What if we went back to that 45, 46 footer and we're like, dang, I need this to be more compact. I don't want to have to false cast that much. I want this to maintain its momentum and its energy to be able to overcome the wind resistance of a big streamer. What do you need to do? I need to make it shorter. I want to compact it, but I still want it to be heavy. I want it to be the same heaviness that it was when it was long. So what if instead of using a 6-weight line, because that has, let's say, a fixed diameter, a 6-weight line is a 6-weight line measured by the diameter, what if we used an 8-weight line? It's 2 lines heavier, but if I use it at that 46 feet, that's way too heavy. I don't need 300 grains on my 6-weight. 315 grains on a 6-weight. That's insane. That's overloading the rod. But what if I took it and I chopped the 8-weight line so that it was only 30 feet long? How heavy would an 8-weight line be if I cut it so that I didn't have the total head weight, but I cut it so that the weight of this new head that's only 30 feet long, so that it's short, compact, less false casting, more efficient with its energy and being able to overcome a wind-resistant fly, how heavy do you think an 8-weight line that's 30 feet long is? Well, it's about 220 grains, 225 grains, 230 grains. So you see, when we actually have a line that's manufactured as being 2 lines heavy, it's not 2 lines heavier based on the head weight. The head weight is not 2 lines heavier. The 6-weight head weight of your short, compact streamer lines is the same head weight as your long-bellied dry fly stuff. They're the same head weight because the 6-weight's the same, and I'm trying to get the same performance and load and response out of the same rod. I don't want to change the weight. I want to change the taper. I want to change how compact it is. I want to change how it responds to that wind resistance fly and how it conserves its energy and momentum. So, when it's actually 2 lines heavy, what they are trying to indicate and imply is that the diameter or the density of the plastic on the line is literally in an 8-weight class. They had to use an 8-weight diameter so that in the shortened compact state, it will load a 6-weight perfectly. So when you're shopping around for fly lines and you're trying to find out, I'm going into streamer fishing, buy a streamer-specific fly line that is marketed toward the exact rod weight that you're going to put it on. If you have a 6-weight and you want to get a 6-weight streamer line, you should be buying a 6-weight streamer line marketed for 6-weights. Even though on the packaging it might say 2 lines heavy, the head weights are the same. They had to use an 8-weight line cut short, full head length, cut short, so that the weight was appropriate for the 6-weight to maximize your performance, but the diameter of the line itself, relative, all things considered, is an 8-weight. I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps you kind of clarify some muddy waters here. But short, compact heads in that 30-foot range, 30, 32, 34, usually classified as shooting heads, but the taper can be spay taper, which is kind of my preference, are going to be marketed most times, or at least the information is going to be relayed to you as being 2 lines heavy, but the head weight is the only thing you care about. Take AFTM, throw it out the window. It matters squat. It does not matter at all. Focus on head weight, and if you just have like a kind of a mental chart, like 6-weight is 200-ish grains, and we'll kind of do like plus 15, like 215 to 225, and you just run 200, 250 7-weight, 300s an 8-weight, 350s a 9-weight, 400s a 10-weight. You just add 50 for every rod weight above a 6-weight, and it'll get you really close ballpark to the head weight that matters. Then if you find a head weight that's relative to that rod scale I just gave you, and it's about 30 feet, and it's marketed for streamer fishing, you're in the ballpark. Buy it true to what the line company suggests, and don't let the too heavy line thing confuse you, because it shouldn't be confusing. It's just a larger diameter line, but it's not as long. It's literally been cut. Not squished, but cut, so that the head weights are the same. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was useful, helpful, interesting, and eventually we'll get to tying. Life is just busy. When life is less busy, we'll tie. Thanks, guys.